Right. So, thank you for doing this. And yeah, just if you want to kick off with just telling a bit of a recap about what made you get in touch to start with, kind of your problems, your issues, how you felt, and just give a bit of background about when we started working together.
Yeah, so I found you on the internet last summer, and I was in kind of a bit of a funk because I'd had a difficult spell at work. So professionally, I was a bit down and stuck and kind of stress, worn down from stress. Personally, life hadn't gone particularly well. Lockdown had kind of cemented all of that stuff. So I was kind of like by July going, oh my goodness, right, I've tried some counselling, I've tried myself making some plans. There's not a lot that I can do. I need some help. And I thought, right, I need to physically start moving, and I need to see somebody that's not in my friendship circle, online. I just need to find somebody else to phone. I need a routine. I need someone who can help me take control of my life. And I found you in the online, and I read stuff, and I thought, oh, this person's me. this person is like, you're kind of like coming from your professional background, having your own kind of struggles at work, or things that made you want to change career. I thought, oh, I bet you Nikki gets me. I bet you she does. And then you phoned me and put me in for a meeting to talk through everything. You're like, yep, I understand that. Yep. And we shared so many kind of similar stories. I was just like, because I thought I was just phoning to see, I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't have the time, I'll just do it. And then I came off the phone and I just like, oh, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm signed up. I'm starting next week. And before I knew it, I was kind of like 3 times a week set in to see you.
And obviously, so that was summer, so we're talking over 6 months ago now. A couple of lockdowns ago, Jesus. In terms of how you feel now compared to how you felt then, like what do you feel like has changed? Just yeah.
I feel massively different compared to last summer. And I was thinking about it recently because I've got some changes coming up in my life with a new job, maybe a house move. And I thought, could I have done this last year? I thought, no, like all these changes that's happened since we started training, I'm massively confident. I've stopped people pleasing. I'm just pleasing myself now. Um, I feel like I can take on and do anything. That physical strength that I've gained has moved over then into my kind of personal strength and my ability to take on challenges in any part in my life, whether that's you saying, right, we're going up 5 kg this week to a weight I never even thought I would own, let alone be able to lift, or whether that's like, no, I'm going for this different job in this organization I never thought would even want to interview me. So I feel a massive impact and a massive change in myself personally, in that course of well, I guess we're coming up to the summer after, isn't it? So it's an unbelievable kind of journey. We can get all X Factor.
The great thing is as well, like you're like super strong and just like what I think's so good is I think I didn't realize quite how low your confidence was to start with. But when I reflect back now on like you were telling me all the stuff you couldn't do to start with, and like every time I'd give you something to do, you were so good at absorbing that information and turning it into action that like what I was seeing totally didn't reflect how you were feeling about yourself at all. And like it's yeah, I love it when you're like, no, I didn't even think I'd own those weights, let alone use them. And yeah, I guess when you set out on it, you never kind of thought that you were going to be able to do half the exercises that you're very competently doing now.
Yeah, it's mental to think back, and as well in where I've come from maybe the year before. lockdown as well, where I was scared of going into a gym. I kind of tentatively got a gym membership and had like a couple of PT sessions, but it was more to say I am really scared about learning how to use equipment and really nervous to claim any space, like personal space in a gym. So I'd kind of come from being kind of 6 months into using the gym myself to then kind of think, who'd have thought I would be seeing a PT three times a week, and knowing the equipment, knowing the moves, having goals for gains and all of that. When, 2 years ago, I was like, I've got a gym membership, I'm not going. It'll be busy. There'll be people in there. I can use 2 machines. I don't know what it is. And I feel like, although we've been training at home, I feel like if I wanted to go to a gym or go out for a jog or do any of that stuff, I'd be able to transfer all that confidence really easily to complement what we're doing.
Absolutely, because I don't think there's anything that you do at home that is you're only doing it because you're at home. There's all the exercises you do. Exercises that, like, I myself go to a gym and do some of those exercises, or I'll do them at home. So you're definitely not like half-arsing anything, are you?
No, definitely not.
And in terms of, like, I mean, we've kind of touched on how your body's changed, how your mindset's changed, and how your self-image has changed. So I suppose my next question would be, if it's been a difficult journey or if it's felt fairly easy, or how's it felt? It's probably about 9 months, I reckon now, maybe a bit longer.
Definitely. Well, Nikki, because I give everything a good go and I'm always like really honest, like, no, I've got more than what you've set, or I have to stop early. But I say I hate these. I hate these lunges, I hate this and that. And the particular ones that I hate and I find consistently difficult, but I enjoy them now. It's a real difference from the beginning. But I actually enjoy them and I'm like, no, this is helping me do something that I really enjoy, that I can do something else. So I kind of have that balance of activity that mixes up with exercises that I really enjoy, and it all mixes up. And I think from when we started, where you kind of like, no, have a mat, and I've got some 1 kilogram weights that I happen to have in the house, and you slowly and steadily took me along and built my confidence and give me things that were familiar to me, just kind of squats. Of course you can do it, it's your own body weight. It's just let's just focus on where you have to feel that exercise to then what were we doing this morning? 40 kilogram deadlifts and stuff. Yep. I think, okay, 1 kilogram seemed like a challenge, and now it's 40, and then I'm kind of like, but 40, I can't wait for another 6 months when 40 feels light. Yeah. I'm on to the next bit.
And also, I suppose the other thing is that, to start with, compared to now, the amount of like back pain and muscle pain that, it's like anyone thinking, I don't want to do any exercise because I have this pain. Has your pain decreased or increased since you've been training?
No, I've definitely decreased. Well, it's a funny mix of things. I'm much more aware of my muscles every day because we use them in the right way. So I can kind of, like, in that good way where I'm like, oh, I'm activating. I can feel what's being activated when I come up my really steep terraced steps, and I can feel when I'm going out for a walk. Yeah, I can get to the top of that hill, or I can keep going that bit longer. So I feel my body, and I'm aware of it, and I'm aware of what it's letting me achieve and do in my day-to-day life, and how precious it is to me, because I came to at a time as well when I was going into like perimenopause, and I was like going, oh, my bones are going to fall apart, Nikki. Oh, I'm gonna lose all my muscles, and the doctor said this, and they won't do that, and I'm having a nightmare, and I've no control of my hormones, I've no control of my emotions, and all of that. And now I'm like, that doesn't even faze me. It seems to have really changed how my body's physically responding to those hormones and things that were just putting me into a real state of kind of a emotional downward track, and that's been a big change for me as well, of how that physical strength has changed some of my hormones and some of what is a natural process, but is kind of made that really quite bearable compared to when I didn't have help. It was awful. I'm not going to lie. It was just things would set me off crying for hours, and now I'm like, I don't know when I last had a cry.
But also, as well as that, the physical strength, which is like, I am so happy that I have helped you with that. But also the weight bearing exercise, because as we're women, as we're getting older, we're more at risk for osteoporosis and osteopenia. So the weight bearing exercise is super important in your bone density as well. So it's a win-win, really, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. I really feel like I'm, it was early menopause, and I felt like, oh, bums, what am I going to do? This is a nightmare. And I really feel like no, I'm banking for that future. And I saw something on TV about for every decade after 30, how much like body mass and muscle mass you just naturally lose. And I'm like, I've taken control of that. I'm going to be one of these 90-year-olds that's still phoning you up going, oh, do you want to go for weights? Let's go weight training. And people are like, they were these white-haired people, and we're shaming them.
Like, what did you think, when you started? Did you imagine that you'd be actually in this place when did you sign up for 8 or 12 weeks to start with? I can't remember, but it was one or the other. But did you expect that you would be like, yeah, I'm going to carry on, I'm still going to be doing this, and how you feel now?
I signed up for 12 weeks, and the world was quite different, because I remember thinking, oh, well, I might only be able to do like 9. We might be back in the office. I might not be able to do this schedule, or we might be back in the gym, and I don't know how I feel about that. There was loads of options, and then I don't even think about it now. It comes to the end of a set, and we sit down and talk about everything that's been achieved or what my goals are, and I'm like, I don't even think about it. It's like a no-brainer. I'm going to keep going with it, and I feel like it's just part of my lifestyle and my identity now. Really, I couldn't imagine not doing it, and I'm really conscious, because it's been so easy over all the lockdowns to kind of go, maybe let eating slip, or let socializing slip, or letting like fresh air and walks slip. And I'm like, no, this is my routine, and I've known I can reflect on where I've been left to my own devices in my own life and let those things go. And I'm like, no, this helps me through all of that. That's given me routine, it's given me purpose, it's given me strength, that I can see all those benefits. I cannot let that slip. And that your role as well, not only as a kind of a PT, but an accountability coach within that, has been really helpful to do that as well.
I've got to say, I empathise a lot with that as well, because it's, I mean, I think you know this about me, that I like being out walking about, but I don't like being sat still. But also, I really don't like it if I can't lift some stuff, and it makes me feel a lot better about myself as well. So I fully understand what you're saying about that. It's like one of the things we can control when everything else feels like we can't control it. And that's like, it's the one thing that's not shifting under our feet in many ways. The whole world shifted under our feet.
100%. It's steady. You can just, well, we're saying that, but being able to get weights over the past 9 months has maybe not been that easy. But being able to lift weights and control what we do, and to make do with things and activities, and that has been steady, and it's given that sense of control. 100%.
And in terms of, what do you think, if you put yourself back into where we started, what do you think would have happened if you hadn't have taken that step to have reached out and started working together?
I don't even think it's worth thinking about. I would be probably just texting you from under a duvet going, oh no. No, I've not been out for a week. No, I've not, I've not been aware of what I've been eating, or you kind of, my levels of protein, some of the levels of energy, and all of those bits. I think, yeah, mental health. I'm struggling because I don't think what it would be.
Yeah,
what it would have been like. It would have been really terrible, I think.
And that's what's so funny, because when I see you and I think of you as this amazing, positive, resilient person who, like, it blows my mind that you didn't feel like that. When I think of you as this amazing, resilient, positive person who is just so fantastic to communicate with. And to think that you didn't feel like that and could not feel like that is horrible. So
I know. Well, thank goodness you've come into my life and helped me, and achieve those goals, and recognise kind of the benefit of the structure of weight training, of exercise, of taking time to reflect on, like, even just goals and things you want to achieve. I was just going to say, it's like relates to the question we were talking about before as well. Like, you don't realise that stuff's missing from your life until you're there and you have it. So you could just kind of say, oh, whatever, I could put like a YouTube on, or whatever is a walk, but it's missing, and you don't realise till you've got it in there. And that kind of value, like when we were talking about, would it continue, or how much do I see it in the future? Now that you have it with you, you're just like, you definitely can't lose it.
And I suppose that comes back to the thing about, as well, trying to solve problems on your own compared to trying to solve problems with a plan and with that oversight. Because I suppose, if I was to say, do you think you could have done that without a plan and accountability and oversight, and to have got from where you were to where you are now, do you think that would have been, or would you have managed to do it? Or would you have managed to do it but had to commit so much more time to teaching yourself, or would you, be under the duvet, like you said?
I don't think I would have got there, because even, like I struggle sometimes remembering all the name of the exercises, with my dyslexia. Sometimes it's hard to remember the names, or to remember exactly, connecting the names with the activity, and you start off and go, oh yeah, I know that one. Right, let's do that. And I've tried, to study at home a little bit to do stuff, and I just think, would I do that? Would I have known the subtleties that is really surprising you were able to do over the webcam, where you're like, oh, your knees are wrong. I'm like, how do you see my knees from over there? Or, just, when we're going like this, like the position of my arms. And now when I go and see people on the TV, or see people in park exercise, I'm like, oh, those push-ups are wrong, or those that's wrong, because the positioning, or where their bum is, or how they're holding their bars, and I don't think I would have been able to know that through reading and doing. I have to kind of watch you do to learn. That's my learning style. But also to have the confidence that I'm not hurting myself, so I can go up weights, or to know the difference between something being too heavy or something being a challenge, and you going 5 more and me going, I'm dying. But just having that conversation where we know the difference between it being unsafe and being challenging, that we can do that really effectively with my iPad in my back bedroom and get pushed to do it.
I think that's the thing that's really difficult for people who are new to it, is knowing what is safe and what isn't. And so people just go hell for leather and either hurt themselves or overdo it, so they don't want to do anything again. Or people are too scared to do anything and they hold back too much. And it's that happy medium, isn't it, of knowing the good pain versus the bad pain, and sort of the muscle exertion versus the risk of injury pain, and one's fantastic and one's terrible, and like that balance of pushing yourself just enough far but not too much. And that's the sort of thing that only comes with time and practice and confidence, and if you don't have support, I think it is hard to do.
100%. And to just remember that little routine, and to, what I find really useful is your little boards where you're like, oh, there was a dot beside that, you've gone up this week, or this is a consolidation week, and those sort of things. You think, am I really going to stop between my own exercises and recognize that, or be able to check my form, like my back bedroom, my spare one, isn't full of mirrors for me to do that stuff, and to know it's not that kind of setup. It's 2 yoga mats and a pile of weights in the corner. So it's on a dining room chair. So
I think though, you do, like, I wait now a moment. Like, if I saw you do something and I said, like, do such and such, and you do it, I won't correct you immediately now, because I know within the blink of an eye you've self-corrected, because you have made that progress, that you can do something now and know, so your body knows it's in that groove of doing the movements. And I think that's the sort of thing that, it's a big kind of learning journey as well. But it's actually, I don't know if you realise you do it, but if you do realise you do, it's quite a nice realisation when you realise that you have become so competent at stuff. Yes.
And I think that's your communication over, it's like those team building exercises, isn't it, where you blindfold somebody and they've got to do this and that. And it is a talent to be able to give that training online, because you're really good at describing, right, get your lemons under your armpits, shoulders down, sipping, like those descriptions that really work. Not real lemons, just for clarity, for my own communication. Imaginary lemon squeezing in, and the way that you hold yourself, it's all, it's really clear that I know exactly what I'm doing. And we take time when new exercises are introduced. We maybe just perfect form for a couple of days, and that works really well for me, because then, like you said, I can self-correct, and we start doing it, and then I start going, oh, we've done 10, next time we do 12, next time we do 15, all right, I'm already up a weight already. And it goes really quickly, because you make sure the foundations are there in the first place.
It's been really interesting for me, because obviously I used to be, like, back in the day, literally in the room with people, and one of my interesting things about me and learning for this was one time when ages ago I'd hurt my back, and I couldn't do certain things to show people certain things, and I realized how kinesthetic I am in my, like, expression, because I was like, oh my god, it's so hard to do the words without the movements myself, which was really interesting for me, and I think made me a better trainer in there. Yeah, I think having to communicate when you're not in the same room to people, sometimes it really does improve your communication skills. So I think quite a big long journey of that for me, which I actually really enjoyed as well. So self-development all around.
No, it's really good. And I'll tell you what else I'm just thinking how much I like online is so this is where I work, and I literally get up and go, like, I have 2 minutes prep. I don't have any driving. I don't have any parking up. I don't have any receptionists to have to pretend to be nice to on the way in, because you're just like, I'm scruffy, don't look at me, I'm just going to the gym. Like, it's just straight upstairs, and you're so kind, like, I'm there so scruffed up and hair like all over the place and no makeup, and you're just like, let's do this, kid, let's go. It's like no judgment or anything.
I think the thing is, though, that some of it is about removing the barriers, and, like, God, we all know how many people have, like, spent loads of money on, like, gyms and not gone to, and if it works, but, like, and obviously I've got online clients who do go to gyms and love going to gyms, but there's a lot of people who that's just the getting 5-minute journey is too much of a barrier, and they're not going to do it. And the way to get anyone successfully changing is to remove as many barriers as possible, so that they can successfully, really easily just get the thing that they need to do done. So walking upstairs, that's a small barrier compared to getting in a car, isn't it?
100%. And I know when the gyms opened the last time, I was like, I'm not ready. You know, mentally, I wasn't ready for mixing with places where I thought were sparks for coronavirus, or I doubted the cleanliness, just not necessarily of the gym owners, but of other clients and customers that went in, and I just wasn't ready, and that removed all of that. I kept moving towards goals and being healthy despite a global pandemic, despite my kind of concerns of you know, maybe getting it from unsafe environments.
And I suppose as well, the thing is that, like, if, you know, you're one of my strongest clients who does the most advanced stuff, and so you know damn well that you're not being held back by choosing to train at home as well, because, you know, you're killing it. You're doing super fantastic. So
no, I really enjoy it, and that's not something that I would have thought I would be saying how much I enjoy it this time last year. I had a curiosity and interest in strength training. I knew from research, you know, that's what I need for my longevity and health into old age. I need to start now to pay it into the future. I didn't think I'd be going like to my mates, like texting, going, oh, guess what I've lifted tonight? Or, you know, going into work going, oh, I've been doing this. This is like, and actually people asking me because I must be kind of talking about it or just showing it's such a big part of my life at the moment.
And that's the thing as well. You've been so consistent as well. Like, my successful clients are people who are like, right, so this is what I committed to doing, and this is what I'm going to do. If I can't do it that time and that day, I'll do it a different time, and I'll find a way to get it done. And that's been you all over. You know, that you've not been someone who's gone, well, originally I committed to do this, and now I'm just going to go, well, that's happened instead, so I'll just not do it. You always find a way to fit in what you've committed to yourself to do, which is really important.
Well, we've done Christmas Day, haven't we, with our with our filters, our Christmas filters. We've done like the birthday, Easter, like we have not missed anything unless we've felt like we've needed it for our own kind of well-being, because everybody needs a break, really. It's good. But yeah, Christmas Day, that's commitment, isn't it?
Well, you know, we looked good in our little avatars and things, and, you know, what else would you do on Christmas morning other than lift weights and be stupid?
There's not a better way to spend it. I think I did really well though, because I did start with chocolate breakfast, so I did do really well with that little boost.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed that you hadn't like decided to quit that day, but I just absolutely think that it was if you're not allowed to go anywhere and you're not allowed to see anyone in the middle of a pandemic, and Christmas happens to fall on a training day, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. I think it was good fun, and yeah, I really appreciate you've been there to fit round, you know, when I've needed little adjustments for work commitments or personal commitments, and just things like that as well, where we're just like, well, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Let's keep going. Let's keep that in. Why not?
Yeah, that's my successful clients are people who say, right, I committed to myself, I'm going to do this, and therefore I'm going to do it, whether I'm in my house, whether I've got to go somewhere else, whether I have to do it on a different day or a different time. They're the people who make the best progress, because there is that consistency. And to be honest, I think that's one of the biggest things for everyone, is finding a way to get that consistency and make the consistency as easy as possible. So I guess the thing to tie up with was if anyone's wondering if it's worth investing in themselves and trying to make that positive change, what would you say to them about, you know, taking your experience on board of where you were to how you feel now?
I would say that, you know, if they go with your advice and follow what you say, and just kind of give up that ability in themselves to maybe get sidetracked or do it, just say, right, I'm going to trust Nikki. This is what's going to happen over this period of time. All I've got to do is show up and try my best, that's it. That's all you ever ask of anybody. Their best, given how they physically or mentally feel on that particular day, and then you'll start within that period of time quite quickly. Because I think it was even within a month, I was just like, yeah, this really looking forward to it. Yeah, I want more weights. Oh, should I get new leggings? Right. No, I need better trainers to be able to do this better. So it wasn't, I'm saying need from my in my head, I didn't actually need them. You weren't asking me to do them, but in my head, it's like, oh, I'm really like, that commitment comes as soon as you start seeing that it's happening and that your strength is going, that you're able to do things more quickly than you thought you could physically, and then mentally it starts making that shift in that kind of like, oh, I'll sit on the sofa and have a bar of chocolate and do nothing, can't be bothered, to be like, no, I've said I'm going to see you at this time, that's happening, right? So I can't then eat this heavy stuff coming up to it. Based on my own experiences of how I feel best doing the exercise, and you think, oh, now I feel motivated afterwards, I'll go for a walk. Like it just kind of ebbs out from that kind of 1 hour, it ebbs out into a really positive day. And then you go, all right, it's a rest day, and then you start thinking about the next session really quickly as well. So I think that's a really long way to say it'll just impact all that. Give it a couple of weeks, give yourself to the process, and you'll really, really like notice a difference really quickly.
Yeah. And I think again it shows the fact that it impacts on like confidence and self-esteem and all that, at the point where, for me, it's always really nice when people buy themselves new like exercise gear to wear, because it means the person's gone from feeling like not great about their body in their clothes to going, right, I've gone and bought this nice new leggings, and now I'm really happy about the fact that I'm in my exercise gear doing my exercise. To me, that shows that someone's made a mental confidence progress as well. And that's one of my things that always makes me smile, even if I don't tell the person, because it's just a real marker of the impact. So right,
no, it's good. I do like a new outfit day.
I'm going to not take up any more of your time. Thank you so much. I think it'll be really helpful for other people to see kind of what it's like from a different perspective than me just saying something about like how it is, like from a real person that they can identify with and empathize with. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to press stop on the record now if I can figure out how to do it. Stop recording.